This video is for the whole world. It doesn't matter if I'm just one person. I'm speaking to the whole world. It doesn't matter. How do you set up healthy boundaries in an unhealthy mindset? You have set up what you refer to as healthy boundaries in an unhealthy consciousness. Once you set up what you call boundaries, you set up a firewall. And all you have done is created a character. And that boundary is saying, don't touch my character. Don't cross this boundary. And so as long as someone doesn't cross that boundary, you're okay. But if they touch that boundary, it's like a wound. It's like you scream in terror. You have encaged yourself in fire. Pain is like fire. You have created your own hell. You cannot set up a healthy boundary in an unhealthy state of consciousness. The fact that you need a boundary in the first place is telling you that you are in an unhealthy state of mind. And so just like the game Operation, every time someone touches that wall, you scream. Every time someone breaches your limit, your boundary, your firewall, you scream. So even when you are not screaming, even when someone is not touching your firewall, you are still in fear. Because the character that you created with this little firewall that's really illuminating your whole state of being, it is walking around only what you call happy because someone hasn't breached that firewall. Someone hasn't breached that limit. Someone hasn't breached that boundary. You have encaged yourself in your own personal hell. You cannot create a healthy boundary within an unhealthy state of being. The human state of being is not the divine state of being. You don't need any limits, any boundaries in divinity, in love. What you must do is understand that the firewall that you set up, just like any computer, it was set up with coding. It was set up with coding. And the codes that it was used to set up with are the codes within the very state of being that you have to ascend from. So now that you set up a boundary, you cannot ascend because you have encaged yourself in the human state of being. How will you ascend into divinity? So the coding that you created your firewall with must be dissolved. And that firewall, what you're calling a boundary, must come down. And no one will be able to touch you when you put on higher light codes. The light codes of this earthen consciousness are not high enough. And so we put on dense principles. Do not seal yourself in a box of density. It is a matter of ascending to where the code of conduct within this dense consciousness will not touch you because you would have grown up. You have created your own hell. And you are walking around in this limited narrative hoping someone doesn't breach your firewall or the personality that you set up. You cannot set a healthy boundary. Those are contrasting words. A boundary means something is wrong. It's nothing healthy about that. It's time to grow up.